Okay, everybody, our lesson for today is all about reducing fractions. So here's kind of the interesting thing. You're going to hear a lot of people use different words for this topic. There's reducing fractions, there's simplifying fractions, lowest terms, and simplest form. So simplifying fractions and reducing fractions mean the same thing. And lowest terms and simplest form also mean the same thing. So if you have friends or parents or relatives that use one term or the other, it's going to mean the same thing. So don't let that confuse you. You guys are most likely just talking about the same thing. It's just a different way to say it. So reducing fractions. So here's the thing. These are going to be equivalent fractions, except that this time you are only using division. Okay, so you're only using division this time. And your goal is to keep reducing until you get to lowest terms. So lowest terms, so you're gonna, this is the other part, keep reducing until you get to lowest terms. So what in the world are lowest terms, or simplest form is the other term for this. Lowest terms or simplest form. So what I mean by lowest terms is when the numerator and denominator can only be divided by 1 as their common. Whoa, that's a crazy M. As their common number that divides them. Okay, so if we have, for example, here are some. This is a list of lowest terms on this side. Some smiley face lowest terms over here. So we have numbers like 1/2. The only number that divides into the top and bottom there is 1. There's nothing different that they could divide by. We could have 2/3. We could have 3/8. So yeah, 8 has other things it could be divided by. Like you could divide 8 by 2, but you can't divide 3 by 2. And remember, you have to do the same thing to the numerator as you do to the denominator. So 2/7 is another one, and 5/9. So again, 9 has other things that can be divided by, like 3, but 3 can't go into 5. So that is going to be lowest terms. So there are some over here that we're going to have that are not in lowest terms yet. Sad face. So if they're not in lowest terms, it means that you can divide them by something else and make the numbers look smaller. So we've got 2/4. Those numbers are both even. We could reduce that more. We could divide the top and bottom, the numerator and denominator, by 2. So another one would be 4/8. Those can be divided by 2 and by 4. 3/15. Those can be divided by 3. 6/9. That can also be divided by 3. And then 8/12. This could be divided by 2 and by 4. So we've got this side where these are in lowest terms already. We can't reduce them any farther. And these are not in lowest terms yet, meaning we can divide them by more to change the numbers. Okay, so let's do some practice. Now here's the thing. I will tell you right now, you can, as long as it's dividing by the same thing in the top and the bottom for the numerator and the denominator, you can divide by whatever. It does, and I'll show you a couple of examples here. There's lots of ways to get down to lowest terms. So let's take a fraction like this, 24/36. And I'm going to reduce it 3 different ways. So, and you know I love to color code. 24/36. Okay, so let's say in way number 1, I look at this and say, okay, these are both even. I can divide it by 2. Divide by 2, divide by 2. So 24 divided by 2 is 12. 36 divided by 2 is 18. They're still even, so I could still divide. So I'm going to keep dividing until I can't divide by anything but 1. So 12 divided by 2 is 6. 18 divided by 2 is 9. These are still not in lowest terms. I can still divide by 3 this time. Divide by 3. Divide by 3. So 6 divided by 3 is 2. 9 divided by 3 is 3. And that is lowest terms. It's often best if you circle your end or your lowest terms, because that way you know that you're at the end and you can find your answer easily. Okay, 24. Now, here's the other thing that I know people are always, sometimes what people do, and this, I don't recommend this. I really would like to not see this. Let's say you get to this and then people think, well, I can divide by more, and they erase their work and try to divide again. I love seeing all of the equivalents here. I love seeing each step as you go along. So show me all your work. All right, let's try another one. So let's say this time, let's look at this and think, okay, well, I know 6 goes into both of those. So I'm going to divide the numerator and denominator by 6. 24 divided by 6 is 4. 36 divided by 6 is 6. These are both still even. I can divide the numerator and the denominator by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. And again, we get 2/3, and nothing can go into 2 and 3 except for 1. So these are the same answers. It took more steps up here, but did we get to the same answer? Yeah, it's perfectly fine. It doesn't matter how many steps it takes, as long as you get down to that lowest terms. Now, let's say in this last one, I look at this and go, and let's say I know my 12 facts really well. If I have 12, if I divide the top and the bottom by 12, 24 divided by 12 is 2. 36 divided by 12 is 3. So I got that in one step the last time. Isn't that crazy? So again, I just want to reiterate that it does not matter how many steps it takes to get to your lowest terms, as long as you're getting down to that lowest terms, okay? When you get to the point where you know that nothing except 1 divides into your fraction, then that's when you know you're at lowest terms, okay? It does not matter if it takes you 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, or more, as long as you get down to that lowest terms, okay? All right, let's do a couple more examples. Let's do 12/18. Okay. And again, I do these arrows just to show you what's going on in my head so that you can see what I'm dividing by. All right, let's say I know that both of these are even. So I'm going to divide by 2. Divide by 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6. 18 divided by 2 is 9. Am I at lowest terms yet? No. I could divide both of these by 3. So 6 divided by 3 is 2. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 2/3. All right, let's do 45/81. Now this one's tough. Now, when I look at this, I know that when I think about division or multiplication, 81 is not a very common answer. The only way I can get 81 here is with our normal 1 through 12 facts is going to be 9. So 81 divided by 9 would be 9. So I have to do the same thing up at the top. 45 divided by 9 would be 5. So 5/9, and can anything go into 5 and 9? Nope. So I'm at lowest terms. Okay. Let's say we have, let's do 48/64. Okay, let's see. They're both even. So I would have 24 over, and this is even. So 32. And then if I look at this, I know that 4 goes into both of these. But if I also think about it, I know 8 goes into both of these. So if I divide this by 8 and this by 8, 24 divided by 8 is 3, and 32 divided by 8 is 4. So I get 3/4. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, so what I have for you for today is it's a kaleidoscope to do. So on the first page, you will find the fractions to reduce. And then once you get done with the fractions, you can go to the second page and shade the kaleidoscope. You might want to use, instead of the pen, which is really thick and you can't see the numbers underneath when you're shading, you might want to use the highlighter in your edit mode with your PDF. So that's your assignment for today, and then you'll also have a fast check. So our lesson for today is over. So what you're going to do now is go back to Google Classroom. You've done the video, check out those board notes, and then work on your worksheet and your fast check. And then the rest is optional work. So if you want to check in for office hours, I'm happy to run through some problems and do some examples with you or answer any questions that you have. There's also an optional iExcel assignment, and then there's also the weekly optional math work. So good luck, and I will see you next time.